Can I come in?
Yes, please come in. Come, Divya.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Please sit
Good
down.
afternoon, sir. Thank you, sir.
Are you comfortable?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are traveling from Rajasthan today, or you have been in Delhi for some time?
So I have been here for interviews. So I came.
For how long you have been here now in Delhi?
So for now 2-3 days, sir.
2-3 days. But you live in which city in Rajasthan?
Pali, sir.
Okay, okay. Now, to begin with, you have to give me a few actionable ideas to boost tourism in your state.
Okay, sir. So very first one is promoting the wedding tourism. As we have seen that lot of celebrities are coming to Rajasthan. So very first one would be that we should be promoting the wedding tourism through our heritage hotels and forts that we have. Secondly, it could be.
But you can't get bookings in hotels, by the way. You know, I tell you, I have had this experience. I have been trying to book a room in Udaipur for someone.
Okay,
but
sir.
I have not been able to book a room with all my contacts.
So I think it's probably full.
Then the shortage of rooms maybe.
Yes, sir. Then second, it could be through the social media campaigns that we have. That is of Padharo Mare Desh, Rajasthan, which is the tagline. So that is one way we could attract. And earlier it was Jaane Kya Dikhja. That was more of a personal touch in the advertisement. So that is one thing that could be used to attract the people. And thirdly, we could our culture that we have and our cuisine that could also be promoted, which includes kheer, sangri. It is nutritious as well as also popular. So that is one way that could be used for promoting tourism.
But some of the dishes are, I would say, very spicy, no?
So that could be changed according to taste of the customer.
Customer, okay. Like your lal mas and all those things, you know. You remember? And there's a dish, no? What do you call that?
Yes, sir. I know about that.
Okay, okay.
I've heard of it, but
Achha,
being
okay.
a vegetarian,
You are a vegetarian now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So anyway, we come to another area of Rajasthan. Do you know that there is a train that goes from Rajasthan to Pakistan? Now it is not operational, but there is a train.
So I'm not.
Okay, I'll tell you more about it, you know, during the feedback time. You take interest in meditation.
Yes, sir.
And reading fiction. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, which fiction book you have read recently?
So recently, I have finished with mythological fiction of Amit Tripathi, that is Shiva trilogy.
What is it about?
So it is about if Shiva was a real person, like God Shiva, if he at all has existed in reality, how the things would have been.
Mm-hmm.
So they have connected it with the, if we look at the book, it will connect it to the IBC, the Indus Valley Civilization, all the events that happened, the Sati episode, how the Ganesh or Kali was born, all of that has been catered to it in that book.
Now we'll come to meditation. Is meditation good for health?
Yes, sir.
How?
So basically through meditation, what we have is some sort of mental peace, and mental peace in these days is very pertinent aspect of our health also. So in that way, meditation does help us.
Okay, I forgot to ask you one thing about Rajasthan, your state. There is a blue city there. Where is it actually in Rajasthan?
So blue city is Jodhpur.
Why is it called blue city?
So there are few reasons for it. The inner part of the city, if you'll go, all the houses are painted in blue. So that is
any
one
particular reason for that? Why they are?
Yes, sir. Because in the use of that, copper sulfate has been used to paint those houses to keep away termites and other pests. So that is why the blue color has came from that.
Okay. Now, you are a student of political science also, no?
Yes, sir.
You tell me who gave us this idea of separation of powers?
So it was given by Montesquieu.
So in India we have separation of powers?
So to certain extent we have it, but not in a complete sense. In some of the cases, Supreme Court, like in the Ramjavai Kapoor, Supreme Court has stated that there is separation of power, but to a limited extent. What we have is more of check and balances, and that there is separation, but
no,
too limited.
Separation of powers also says checks and balances. It doesn't mean that it is only. I have studied Montesquieu myself.
There's more of mixing in the sense that there is executive from the parliament.
Who is supreme in India, you think?
So it is the constitutional supremacy that we have in India.
So who framed the constitution?
So it was framed by the people of India, as the preamble states.
Yeah, I think the Constituent Assembly. There is a Constituent Assembly which framed the Constitution. Okay. Now, you know of any country in the world who doesn't have a written constitution?
Britain.
Britain. How do they function?
So it is not that they don't have a complete written set of laws. They are certain through their there are certain laws that are written, but others are through their precedents. They are following it.
Have you heard of
As a
Magna Carta?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It is
Tell me about
the
it.
Bill of Rights of the fundamental rights that is being used in Britain. The fundamental rights that people have.
But it dates back to a very old time, no? 1215 or something like that, no? Some old. When was the Magna Carta?
So I don't remember
Oh, it's
the
okay.
actual
That's
year.
fine, absolutely. Tell me when judicial review came into prominence in India first time? Which particular case?
So it was through the Keshwanand Bharti case when the Supreme Court declared that there is a basic structure of constitution that couldn't be changed. So through that they firmly asserted that there is a power with the Supreme Court that if anything goes against this basic structure, they have all the powers to review it.
Divya, my last question now. I'll take you to the international domain very briefly, just one or two questions to know whether you know what is happening around us, around India. Okay. Now, there is an overture, friendly overture from the Prime Minister of Pakistan that he wants to have a dialogue with India.
Yes, sir.
Of course, he has put a condition. Do you think we should go to the negotiating table?
Yes, sir.
You have to give me some arguments.
So very first reason is that because this the Kashmir issue has long been contentious. The very first thing we want is there should be peace in our country. So that is the very first reason that we should go for negotiation. Then again we know that Pakistan has been funding terrorists. So if we don't intervene with them, so that will again create some internal security issues for India. So that is the very reason. And third reason, and India has always went for these kind of negotiation and peaceful resolution to the issues. So definitely we should go for negotiation.
My last question to you, Divya. This pertains to US-China relations.
Okay, sir.
US-China relations have not been so good in the past, but now they are getting worse.
Yes, sir.
What is happening actually?
So initially they were indulged in their trade wars, that each of them country was blaming them for imposing dumping and anti-dumping duties. And right now China is being more assertive these days, particularly with case of in the South China Sea, in the Indo-Pacific region, which happens to be a prominent area where America too has its important interest.
Tell me about some trigger events, which triggered now.
In recently there was a spy balloon which was shot down by USA, and it was said that it was sent by China for the surveillance.
But Chinese say that it kind of drifted, through the sky, by the wind or whatever, it came all the way from China to US, they say.
But if it would have been one incident, then we might have taken that argument. But the sightings have been since 1 year. There have been sightings in India also, in Latin America also. So that is one thing we cannot take that argument as a valid one.
Okay. Did you read about the Chinese hacking our, AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, the system was down for almost 5-6 days.
Yes, sir.
And then, there were reports that probably the Chinese hacked it.
Yes, sir.
So what can we do? I mean, for cyber security, what can we do in India?
So though we have certain institutions like CERTIN and IFOC which are working for the same, but at the same time our dependence on Chinese equipments for these purposes have been more. For surveillance also and for other instruments also we are importing those from China. So what we can do is we could replace it from other prominent partners, or rather we should start manufacturing, develop capacity for manufacturing them in our own country.
Thank you, Divya.
Divya, Bhagwan Mahavir.
Yes, sir.
So, what are his teachings?
So he gave the 3 jewels: right faith, right knowledge and right conduct. And also some anuvras that one shouldn't steal, one shouldn't be speaking for untruth, then one shouldn't be possessive, and one should practice brahmacharya. And now that pertains if you are a ascetic, that is a higher level of brahmacharya, but for a common man it is a lower degree of brahmacharya, that is abstaining from certain things.
So the various Tirthankars, later on then how the Jainism has evolved?
So as it is said that this was started by Lord Rishabh Deva, He was the very first thinker, and all we have 24 thinkers in the present time. So all the teachings have moved forward from Rishabdevan to all the other thinkers, and the last one for this era was Bhagwan Mahavira.
So how the things have changed
Sorry,
from
sir.
Bhagwan Mahavir, Lord, to the last Tirthankar?
So initially it was they are like superficial characters. There's not much more that we know about them. But the thing is, after till Lord Mahavira, as and when it happened, there have been lot of divisions. There have been sects. Earlier, when it was there was only Jainism. Now we have different sects, and there are other divisions also that have come up. So that is one change that we could see.
Red Cross. When the Red Cross was formed?
So I don't remember the exact year. It was formed by Henry Duan. That's all I remember.
And what is the role of Red Cross in the international wars and international crisis?
So
Say Ukraine and Russia war is going on, but there is no role of Red Cross. But is there some role of Red Cross?
So I'm not aware of that. Sorry.
When India-Pakistan war was going on?
So I'm not
So
aware.
if they want to play some role, then how do they proceed?
So they do it by sending humanitarian assistance, medicines and all of that for their first aid kits and all of that. They do send their volunteer also, like they did in the Kutch earthquake, that Bhuj earthquake in Gujarat. So they do send volunteers, they help people up with the humanitarian assistance that they can give.
How the International Red Cross Society and then country and then state and then district society, they are connected, their administrative setup?
So at the national level, it is our Honorable President which heads the Red Cross Society. And then at the district level, there are various branches or chapters that they have district wise. Then there is state level setup where all the chairmans of these districts come, and that's how it works.
And what about financing?
So it is majorly through donations that they get it.
Rajasthan, which are the border district bordering Pakistan?
So it's Jaisalmer, Badmer, Bikaner and Sri Ganganagar.
Divya, your graduation subjects were political science, history and economics.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
But you opted for optional as English.
No, sir. It's Pol Science International Relations.
There is a mistake in the, I think, your DAP. PSIR,
It
I
is
think,
Political Science and
International
International
Okay.
Relations.
Mistake, I think.
So, have you heard the name of PFI,
No, sir. I'm not.
Popular Front of India?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Rupee is getting devalued
Yes, sir.
against dollar.
Yes, sir.
What are its implications for the economy of India?
So any kind of devaluation, first of all, will hamper the trust of investors in the country. Secondly, there will be inflation in the country as we are observing right now. And thirdly, it might affect the exports of our country.
They are all the minus points. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Is there some positive also?
Positive, it could be in the sense that when a currency devalues, sorry sir, I said that wrong, it increases the imports, but decreases imports, but it does increase the import. It becomes lucrative for others to buy from India when there is a devaluation in currency.
Okay. So is that not beneficial?
But sir, in long term, it is not sustainable. When your currency is continuously depreciating, it will adversely impact the economy. So it is not sustainable for a long time. To a certain extent, it is okay.
Okay. And why is it getting devalued?
So the situations that are going on the recent time, like the Russia-Ukraine war that is happening, then the sanctions that have been imposed through on the SWIFT system also, there is a problem in conducting the trade also. Then again the COVID pandemic that has hit us. So that is still the repercussions we could see even today.
What is monetary policy and what is fiscal policy?
So monetary policy is basically the policy that is taken care of by the RBI, the central bank. So it varies the interest rate, so to manage the liquidity in the country. And fiscal policy is under the domain of the government, which is related to the revenue and expenditure of the government.
How does government apply it?
So through its various policies in the budget that we see, from where the resources are coming, how the government will be spending, all that data they give it through that.
They have to control inflation. How do they use fiscal policy and how do they use monetary policy?
So through the recent amendment, we have bought inflation targeting. So there is a target that the inflation should be maintained at 4 with the acceptable limits of plus minus 2. So through this, the RBI has been given the target to maintain inflation at the same time to look after the growth as well. So by syncing what the government is doing at the same time, so the expenditures of the government as well as the liquidity measures that have been taken by the RBI. So we make sure that both of them are not going in the opposite directions. So that is one way.
How RBI helps in curbing the inflation?
So by increasing the interest rates, so when the interest rates are increased, so there's less liquidity in the economy, so there's lesser demand, so that is one way they try to curb the inflation.
And how does government impact that?
Through fiscal policy, government could reduce its expenditure, it could exercise fiscal consolidation, it could even increase the taxes that there are, so that there's a decrease in the purchasing power and thus the demand decreases and
what
the
is
inflation.
the main cause of concern in the budget? The main cause. If we have to single out a single reason that the budget is
I think so that would be the high fiscal deficit target that we have. It is around 5.9%.
Thank you.
Divya, right to life, is it a fundamental right?
Yes, sir.
Under which
Under
article?
Article 21.
Does right to life include right to die?
Yes, sir.
Is it judgment of the Constitution? A judgment of Supreme Court?
So it is right to die with dignity. In the Aruna Schonberg case that we have seen, the Supreme Court has said that there is a right to die with dignity, and even passive euthanasia was allowed for the same.
Okay, so some changes have been made in that particular decision which you have just said. Related with what? Related with passive euthanasia? What exactly it is related with? Those amendments which have recently made in the judgment of Supreme Court.
So one I can recall is that of the common cause case, where there was the concept of living will was introduced, where the person who can give their consent in advance, that if anything happens to them, they could just
And
clarify.
simplification of the procedure, any idea related with that? Simplification of the procedure related with passive euthanasia, this will and all that.
So I will read. I'm not able
Okay.
to recall.
So, you know, what do you mean by judicial majoritarianism?
So it was recently news like whenever the judgments are given by Supreme Court or any judiciary, there is a majority, like there are 5 judges and 4 are in
Good
favor.
enough. Is judicial majoritarianism justified?
So to arrive at decision, this is the most practical way that we have right now.
What is the provision in the Constitution?
So it is the same by the
It is the same. But
like.
I again repeat that particular question. Is it justified? Because as you know, in Keshavanand Bharati case, 7-6, almost
It was
equal.
sense. But then
So
again,
where was the problem? A problem was related with that Constitution is not clear, or problem was something else.
so I'm not too
Suppose
sure.
we two are having some differences. Should we not try, first of all, that either you convince me or I convince you? It should not be. Should it not be the approach?
Yes, I
Because
should.
7-6 almost equal, though there is only one difference by 1, difference of 1.
So I do agree with you. But if we may do that way, then it will be very difficult to arrive at any practicable solution.
And first
or
of all, let's
resolving the
try.
issue.
Whether I can convince you or you can convince me. Is there any harm in doing that? Because Constitution is the same.
Yes, sir.
And there was an eminent jurist also related with Keshavanand Bharati case. Who was that? Nani Palkiwala. Nani Palkiwala.
ji. Yes, sir.
13 judges, that too of the Supreme Court. Anyway, Now, related with women empowerment. So, several measures have been taken. These may be in the form of centrally sponsored schemes. These may be in the form of legislation for women empowerment. So, now you tell me various schemes related with women empowerment, various legislations related with women empowerment.
So in schemes we have Matritva Vandan Yojana.
Yeah.
For that.
Just name them, not in detail.
Okay, sir. Then there is in our local bodies we have 33% reservation.
Okay.
Then in state also give a reservation to women in their civil services. Then again there are Suman scheme is also there. Then for the purpose of
in order
economic
of priority, in order of priority, some other schemes and legislations.
Mudra scheme for loans. Then also through Startup India scheme there are compulsions that loan should be given to women. Then Niti Aayog also working for this for women empowerment, like there is a entrepreneurship platform for the same. Then there is a Swadher Graha
Sukanya
and Sakhi portal, that is a one stop where they can get their solution. Then Vishakha guidelines for the harassment
Okay,
at workplace. Then
35A, what is that? 35A related with 35A article.
so that is related with Kashmir.
So
that has now been
again related with yeah.
So that there was a problem in 35A that women, if they have married outside.
Good enough. What else? Triple talaq.
Yes, sir. And
What is the name of the act?
So I'm not able
The
to-
Muslim Women Right to Protection on Marriage Act.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what else? Now, come to the later part. Our Honorable Prime Minister says that we are moving ahead from women empowerment to women-led development. So on what basis? Do you agree with this, first of all?
Yes, sir.
We are moving ahead from women empowerment to women-led development. So how will you justify, if at all you agree with this?
So very firstly, there has been though a minuscule increase, but there has been an increase in the women represented in the Lok Sabha, and right now it is around 14%. Then
What about the president at the top? First citizen of India, huh?
So I was
So should you not start with that? Anyway, what else?
Yes.
Good.
So sorry, sir.
फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर वही बजट ले जा रहा है, वही वीमेन ही अप्रूव कर रहा है, वुमेन ही अप्रूव कर रही हैं, वुमेन ही ले जा रही हैं. What else?
Then also various state CMs that we have seen, like Vasundhara Raje, Mayawati, they are also there.
Yeah. What else?
Then
Women entrepreneurs. Can you name some?
the one I am.
What about representation in the army?
Though now there is a commission, Apni Chaturvedi, I can recall.
Permanent commission,
And in
huh?
journalism, there is Palki Sharma. Women are approaching.
And 108 women are to be promoted from lieutenant colonel to colonel rank.
Okay, sir.
What else?
Not else.
Holding lakhs and lakhs constitutional posts. How? How can you say?
Through local bodies.
Yeah, local bodies, those are the constitutional posts. Huh? Okay, thank you.
sir.
Divya, we wait outside for a minute, we'll call you back.
Okay, sir.
Come quickly when
ये बड़ा
Thank you,
important
sir.
question होगा.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Divya. Please have a
Thank you,
seat.
sir.
How was your mock with us?
So I think there were certain things that I was not aware, or I will have to read on that.
You came out very well during the
Thank you,
course
sir.
of your interactive session with us this afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
We would give you a few suggestions,
Yes, sir.
which would help you in preparing for the interview. When is your interview?
So 29th March.
March. So you have a little time.
Yes, sir.
And will this be your first interview or you have appeared before?
No, sir. Very first interview.
Very first interview. Wish you all the best.
Thank you
Very
so
first
much.
in a chance or is it?
Sir. No, sir. No, sir. This would be my 5th attempt and first interview.
First interview, okay.
Okay, sir.
Just a few suggestions. Study more about your state.
Okay,
It's a
sir.
very fascinating state, by the way. And one or two things I would like to point out. You remember I asked you about the train? It is
Yes,
called
sir.
Thar Express, THAR.
Okay,
You
sir.
can Google it and find out also.
Surely,
It
sir.
connects 2 points, Munabao and Kokrapar. Munabao
Okay.
and Kokrapar connects. It's not working now, because of the ongoing tension between the two countries, India, Pakistan. They may also ask you a question why it is relatively quiet on your side of the border with Pakistan.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Then I think meditation and fiction you have read fiction you read. So I mean you gave a good answer. I probably asked you. that which
Yes, sir.
book you read and you told me. I think there will be a question on that.
Okay,
Meditation, prepare very well, like Vipassana meditation, transcendental meditation. I don't know whether you heard of it or not.
Okay, sir.
Heartful meditation, mindful meditation, mantra meditation.
Mahesh Yogi propounded that, you know.
Okay, sir, I'll-
basically taught that. And questions on your optional subject, political science is a vast subject. But
Okay, sir.
generally questions are on, I would say, the basic concepts or maybe a few philosophers.
Okay, sir.
You know, like they will ask you about Rousseau or, you know, Hobbes
Yes,
or
sir.
Machiavelli, you know, like that. There, you know, there is a link actually. Why I am talking about Hobbes and Machiavelli? Tell me.
So there was a modern. Who was the modern thinker
One
among
is a
them?
prince. No. One talked about a prince. The other talked about what?
Leviathan.
Yeah, Leviathan. So there is a link. You know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So prepare well, and budget. You will have at least one question or the other.
Okay, I'll add.
So for budget, I suggest that you read either the Mint or Economic Times. Are you reading one of the economic newspaper?
So I was actually there was a lot of news coming, so I thought.
No, I
when
think what you
it
do is concentrate. I mean, read one newspaper, whichever you are reading, thoroughly,
Okay, sir.
from page to page. I mean, including the sports page, everything you read. One
Okay, sir.
page,
Okay, sir.
and one economic paper,
Okay,
like
sir.
Mint or Economic Times.
Okay, sir. I'll do that.
Then keep track of developments in the immediate neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
Whatever is happening around us. Although I think you have put foreign service as number 5 probably.
Yes, sir.
Number 5? No.
Yes.
That means you are not interested. So anyway, but there will be questions on our neighbors, you know. You can't escape questions on neighbors.
Surely, sir.
Like Pakistan, China, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan. Be prepared. And keep track of foreign dignitaries visiting India around the time of your interview.
Okay, sir.
You know, any foreign minister or any prime minister visiting our state or from us, from our side, going to a foreign country.
Okay, sir.
There will be questions on that.
Okay, sir.
So if you have any questions for us, please ask.
No, sir.
Divya, एक तो if you are comfortable with sari पहन।
Yes, I'll be wearing sari. I'm learning to wear.
हाँ, comfortable उस टाइम तक हो
Definitely,
जाइए।
I'll wear a sari.
नहीं तो उसे संभालने में टाइम लग जाता है।
No, sir. I have wear it sari, so
Good,
that
good.
will not be a problem.
तो अपने टैब से रिलेटेड जैसा अभी कहा गया है और
जी,
करंट
सर।
अफेयर से रिलेटेड प्रोबेबल क्वेश्चंस आइडेंटिफाई करिए और अच्छे से तैयारी कीजिए। यू आर वेरी गुड कैंडिडेट।
Okay,
इसी बार निकलना है, नो नेक्स्ट चांस।
So
मेहनत
that's
करना है इसी
so
बीच।
definitely, sir.
Meditation is your hobbies.
Yes, sir.
So meditation is a part of Ashtanga Yoga.
Okay.
So if somebody is there, he or she can ask you questions about Ashtanga Yoga also.
So that means any connected area that may have in any area that I have in
Because
my
it is your
dad.
hobby.
बिल्कुल।
Yes.
Hobby is anything you can ask about it related.
Okay, sir.
आपके नाम से ही शुरू होके हॉबी तक सारा इसमें दिख जाएगा और करंट अफेयर।
Did somebody advise you to write that in your extracurricular interest?
No, sir.
Activities or
I
or
was-
you wrote it yourself?
So I was doing it, but not Vipassana. That was something I was doing on my own.
On your own, okay.
Yes, sir.
Chaliye, all the best, Divya.
Thank you so much.
ऑल द बेस्ट।
Thank you, sir.